Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to another edition of the Urban Entrepreneur Show. My name is Anna Banks, and I'll be your host this day. So, today's episode is a deep dive into the art of character building and leadership mastery. And our guest today is none other than Dr. Houssam Makki, founder of GoldenShell Coaching, known by many as the Middle East's #1 true leadership catalyst and character building coach. So, with a journey that spans from a challenging, I should say, a challenging corporate career to entrepreneurial triumphs, Dr. Makki's insights are invaluable for anyone striving to lead authentically and impactfully in today's urban or suburban landscape. So, listen up as we uncover some secrets to mastering the art of character building and glean some lessons from Dr. Makki's remarkable leadership journey. So, welcome to the Urban Entrepreneur Show.
Thank you so much, Anna. That was a great introduction, and I have a pleasure to be on your show and ready to drop some insights.
That is wonderful. Well, we're ready to take notes on those insights. So,
Pleasure.
as I mentioned, your journey has been from corporate life, a very
Mhm.
successful corporate life, to entrepreneurship. And I have to admit, it's quite inspiring. So, can you share how this transition has shaped your understanding of true leadership, particularly in urban or city based environments?
All right. First of all, again, I'm going to thank you so much for this opportunity where I can have a wider platform where I can drop the insights that I got. I'm a no special person. I'm just like everybody else who started their life, kicking off with a job, right? Being diving into the corporate world. But we have to embrace the fact that every human being working in a company or going through challenges, they have a special case, whatever the case may be, they have their own way of perceiving life.
Mhm.
Even if, and regardless of in which environment or in whatever family you grew up in, we have to admit that there is this corner that every individual on this planet have, that they perceive their life on their own way. Even if they were taught about things, about habits, about traditional things or whatever the case is, they do have this small point. And that's what I'm going to be talking about.
Okay.
As so many people, observing what's going on around them in the corporate world, seeing how the behavior is going on, and some people, they ask themselves questions, and some people just obey what's going on without questioning. Well, first thing we have to understand as human beings, we have to ask questions. We have two systems. We have God's system, we have human being system. In human being system, there are restrictions where you don't have to ask anything, just obey, just do, just live life as it is. In God's system, you are given the freedom to ask questions and go beyond.
Mhm.
Why I'm saying this? Because that's going to be the base of our conversation, right?
Okay.
When I was in the corporate world, I was looking around. Like, why do we have managers? Why do these people have authority to say do this and do that? When we look into the level of employees, we do have intelligent people. Why don't these people lead the crowd? And so many questions came to me like that until I came to the conclusion of a leader should not, I mean, does not have to have an authority to lead.
Mhm.
Everyone is a leader. There's the people often post thing on social media. They say that a boss says 1 2 3, a leader says 3 2 1. Well, let me bring to your attention that a leader and a boss, they are both leaders.
Mm.
So you're not saying anything different, right? We are all leaders. Whether he's a boss, whether he's a father, she's a mother, she's a sister or brother, whatever we call them, they are leaders for the fact that they're taking us from point A to point B. That's where I started developing some sort of awareness around the subject of leadership, and I started reading books that leads me to truth, get me closer to truth. What does leadership mean? And that's where the journey started.
Hmm. Hmm. So, you mentioned God and man. And so it seems as if, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that faith and mentorship seem to be fundamental aspects of your approach to leadership. So,
Right.
how have these two um, um, aspects influenced your character building philosophy, and what lessons have they offered, um, and what lessons, I should say, can you offer from that basis for aspiring entrepreneurs?
Great question. I'm gonna go back to the basics. I always love to go back to the basics whenever I'm asked any question, so I can not leave any uh, scar of doubt for people to question themselves. Like, what you saying? What does he mean by that? So let me go back to the basics. I am a reborn miracle, right?
Mhm.
Reborn miracle. It's my story where I fell down from 3 stories building and reaching the floor with a split head. And I was taken to the hospital, and doctors doubted my life, and that's it. I
Mm.
was considered dead for human beings, but I was considered something else to God. In this part of time, like in this period of time when I fell down and I got my head split on the floor, human beings saw me as a, I was labeled as a piece of wood kid because I lost all my senses during that time.
Mm.
But during this period of time, there was a conversation, and I want to focus on that. There was a conversation between me and God. And that's where I came with something called God bets on your greatness. This is the conclusion of the conversation, as if he called me back and he taught me something and he sent me back to earth to live life like any human being. After a few months from this incident, I got my sensories back, thanks to my mother's belief that something is going to happen, and thanks to God for giving me this other chance. But after my recovery, my mom was diagnosed with cancer for 10 years. And she had to stay at that time in the hospital for 10 years,
My
not
goodness.
seeing anybody. She was allowed only 2 hours on Friday to go check on her kids and go back to the hospital. Now, at that time, I was like around 3 or 4 years old, and I didn't understand what's going on. But I was blessed that my grandmother, who was considered illiterate and cannot read and teach anything, she took care of me. and she poured a lot of wisdom in me. And that's where I was taught about faith. Now, growing up, what I am teaching today, what I'm speaking today, is the legacy of my grandmother. So now here we're focusing on mentorship. Now, there you go. You have faith, you have mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
Holding these two in my heart and talking about faith and talking about mentorship, the lessons that I teach people about is that faith is your moral compass.
Mm-hmm.
Faith is your solid anchor in the middle of life's ocean. Faith reminds us always to go back to the basics. Now, when we talk about mentorship, mentorship is guidance, it's wisdom, and it's accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Living by these two concepts, faith and mentorship, you shall see your life accelerating to the best.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the core of me teaching faith and mentorship from my personal life and the lessons that I learned throughout the journey that kept reminding me whenever I'm facing any obstacle or challenge or whatever the case may be, I have these two as a light in my life to keep me going.
And so just let's take that a step further. And so this is a personal testimony, a
Yeah.
personal grounding, personal anchors. How can you now help other entrepreneurs to use that type of thing for themselves in moving their business forward?
It's simply through my coaching sessions.
Okay.
That's how I help people, through my conversation with them. First of all, as you said, I'm a walk-in testimony of my life. You know, I mean, it's my story. I'm not telling people any theories, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about proven pillars, proven light, proven vehicle
Yes.
that you can walk with through life, and how you can overcome your challenges and how you should perceive or look at life. You know, I believe, although we have so many coaches around there, but most of them, they coach people based on their traditional beliefs, which is totally wrong, because coaching, before it became a trend and before it became a career for people to follow, it's a genuine practice that was given to us by God. If you recall, I said that God gave us the freedom to think, right? So when you just throw every human um, practice or human perception or human rules away and just go back to your essence, which is your character, you will start dealing with this genuine practice in an authentic way. You will be able to ask questions that are not prepared, but questions that came from your heart by understanding the soul that is in front of you. You cannot treat everybody the same. You cannot ask people the same questions.
Right.
All right, we are learning techniques, we are learning strategies from other people, with which we should, because nobody is thinking the same way other people think. You know,
Absolutely.
everyone perceives life, as I said earlier, that they have this, small point where they perceive life their own way, no matter what they learned from everything around them, right? So everyone have their own unique way of perceiving life. Therefore, when they activate this thing, and start perceiving things uniquely as they are, they will be able to come up with systems and strategies. And this is where they have to start sharing. Don't duplicate. Thus, share your authentic uniqueness with people, right? We are learning these strategies and systems, but again, we take them, we implement them in our unique way. And that's why, or that's where you start coaching people in an authentic way, and you will be able to let them get the gems that they hold inside that they don't see, because we have to stick to what I heard from Les Brown saying: you cannot see yourself when you are in the frame.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. Well, I think what I'm hearing you say is that, especially as it relates to coaching, is that coaching isn't really not about talking to people or just asking questions, but it is being in the moment and then asking questions from what you are being inspired to do or to say, based on that person that's sitting in front of you. And that truly is coaching. Coaching is not about telling, it's not about selling. It's really about asking good, in the moment, authentic questions. And I appreciate your bringing that point out, because you're right. There are so many coaches that there's a list of questions, and they ask the questions, the same questions, but that's not necessarily what a real coach does. They perceive who that person is in front of them, and then they ask them the appropriate questions, the inspired questions, for
Right.
them.
Right.
Absolutely. So, you have faced some significant challenges. I mean, just sharing what happened to you when you were a child is amazing. It's breathtaking, in that regard.
Yeah.
But also, I know that you've faced some challenges in your entrepreneurial journey, such as
Yes.
economic crisis, all kinds of things. So, how did you maintain resilience and that overcome setbacks mentality, um, in those turbulent times in your life?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, again, I'm gonna mention these two pillars. If you walk by these two pillars, you will never see challenges the way human beings see it.
Mm,
You will start seeing challenges as friends. You will start seeing mistakes as friends. They are your companion throughout the journey of life. Challenges, obstacles, mistakes, they are your companion to make you the best version of yourself. So again, I'm going to talk about faith and mentorship. These two are going to empower any kind of attribute that we gain from God. One of them is resilience, as you
mhm,
said, right? So I remember um, one time when I joined, like this was a major breakthrough. Thank you for asking this question, because now your mind jogging my memory, and going back to this time, especially when you mentioned the economy crisis. Um, in my last position, I was going through the climbing up the ladder of corporate, you
mhm.
know, and so many people work in companies to earn money so they can live a fine life,
Absolutely.
right? That's a fact, right? But
Nothing wrong
not
with that.
everything, but not everything we see and feel and touch is the truth. Be aware of that. So I reached to a point where I was highly paid, and I thought that that's it. That's what I'm going to be. I'm going to hold on to it. That's my position. That's what I'm going to be paid. Let me now enjoy life at a younger age. And I have my wife, and I started purchasing this and that, and going to a new flat and whatever the case is. All of a sudden, economy crisis crashed in, and I was one of the people who was laid off. So I stayed with no money, no privileges, no nothing, just a normal human being sitting at home and crying over what happened. Now this was, as I said, a breakthrough, because what I did was I told my wife, you just pick yourself up, go to our home country, stay with your parents until I resolve everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did was I closed everything. I closed the curtains. I closed my phones. I don't want to talk to anybody. And people who, I'm paying installments for, and whatever the case is, they're starting calling me. So I closed every type of communication, and I didn't want to talk to anyone. That's where I started praying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was asking God and telling God, I have faith in you, and I need help. I need this. I need that. And nothing happened. A month, 2 months went by. I'm just eating, sleeping, and crying over and praying, and my beard got longer. And then I said to myself, what am I doing? What am I doing? Praying without action is nothing. And I used to talk about faith all the time until it became an auto response for me talking about faith without understanding what am I talking about. And let me grab this opportunity to share this point, because people today, they talk about things, but when they get used to talk about things, they forget about applying it in their life. And that's what happened to me.
Ooh, say that one again. And that is so true. They say,
Right.
when the stuff hits the fan, yeah, and then that's when faith walks out the door. You are right about that.
Exactly. Exactly. So again, I'm going to emphasize on this point again, that whenever we start talking about things and again and again and again, and get fascinated by the comments and likes and follows by other people, we get used to the habit of sharing this point without applying it in our life, without understanding the basics of it, and forgetting about when we were introduced to that thing.
Yes.
Right? So I stopped for a second and started saying, like, I was praying and asking God. We believe in God, but we don't see Him. So when we ask God, He will give us through us. So I have to move. That's what I did. I started shaving my beard, dressing up, and going back to the normal coffee shop that I used to hang out in to finish my business and everything and meet my friends over there. And that's where the branch manager came up to me and said, like, it's been a long time that we haven't met. Where were you? I told him that I was traveling, and I had some things to finish. Those. That's why I was away from coming to the coffee shop. He said to me, all right, can I have 5 minutes of your time? I said, sure, no problem. He said, see, it's not the right time for me to talk to you about what I'm about to offer, but I'm going to give you my card. Just call me up and let's set up a time where we can meet outside my work hours and talk about it. I said, fine. He left his card and I went home. A week passed by. Then I called the guy and I told him we shall meet. He said, all right, let's do so and so time. I said, okay. I didn't show up. Second time I called, I did not show up. Third time I called, I did not show up. Now the fourth time I called him and I said, I'm really sorry. Let's do it. We arranged time, the day, and everything. And I went and I met the guy. And he told me about something that I never knew it exists. And it was a new concept. It was called the network marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really grateful for this industry because this was one of the things that opened my eyes wider on what caught my eyes in the corporate world, which is leadership. Like so many people, I was presented to this idea, and I borrowed money because at that time I was broke. I borrowed money, I joined the business, and I was fascinated about something that I've seen for the first time in my life: training sessions. A hall full of people talking positive, and have aspirations, and they want to do this and do that, and they talk. I mean, it was a different language. That's where I heard about Les Brown, and they were talking about motivational speaking, which is something that, again, something new I never heard of. And I started following what is motivational speaking. And I started studying this thing and following Les Brown. I found so many things in common between me and Les Brown's during his, childhood, his school days, and the people who believed in him.
Yes.
Fast forward, attending more trainings, I heard about the term leadership, and it was something new. And I was thirsty to know what's going on because, like so many people joining the network marketing industry, I wanted to make money. I wanted to build a team. I want to, I thought that it was the opportunity that I was waiting for. Sometimes we see something, we think that this is the thing, and we fail to understand it's what's in it is the thing.
Yes.
It's not the big thing, it's what's in it is the thing. That's where I discovered my passion. I knew what I wanted. I understood myself more. I was introduced to the motivational speaking and the speaking industry, which I today do, training, leadership, and I started reading. It was the very first book that I read since I quit school
Mm.
because I was thirsty to understand something that belongs to the seed that I hold and I should share with people.
That is really amazing. And it's true. Sometimes the things that we get introduced to along our life's journey, um, it's really just leading us to the thing that we are supposed to do. It's almost like, I hate to use this example, but almost like peeling an onion. We have to get to the core of it. And so, each one of those experiences was another leaf that was pulled off so that
It
we could
goes through a
actually
tier.
get. Absolutely. So how exciting that is. And I have to say that, network marketing has been a door opener for so many people into opening up
Yeah.
the possibilities for things to be better, for you to be able to generate um um money, really. I won't say out of nowhere, but through your own efforts and leadership abilities. It's really a door opener for so many people, and it opens up the opportunity for being able to be mentored again by other people. It does develop your character, and
Yes.
sometimes it exposes your character.
Well, I'm a live testimony. I'm a
Yeah,
live testimony.
absolutely. So, what I hear you also saying is that you were part of a vibrant community.
Right.
That's one of the things that network marketing and the speaking industry does afford us. And so, can you just share a specific um, bit of collaboration or a collaboration experience that has enhanced your leadership journey as well as contributed to your success?
Right. Well, I'm gonna pick a recent collaboration because you see, Me joining network marketing industry was like 14 years ago, and it was a door opener, as you said,
Yes.
for me to discover my passion.
Hmm.
So whoever have a misconception about network marketing is not like we're saying network marketing, not network selling. So part of it is you being paid, but you are not a salesperson.
Hmm.
I'm a live testimony. I discovered my passion and what I want to do as a human being on this planet, and what kind of legacy I want to leave behind. So, why I mentioned this is because it was like 10 years ago since I heard the word leadership, and then I started studying leadership for almost 10 years now, or 13 years, which made me come up with my own philosophy. So I just wanted to emphasize on this journey. Now, this opened a door for me when I started, talking about leadership and sharing my insights and coming up with my philosophy. I attracted people who wanted to collaborate with me.
Yes.
First, they wanted to understand leadership more.
Hmm.
Second, they wanted to create something powerful as a service or a product. So what am I going to talk about is the book co-author writing with other people who have their own path, merging them together and doubling the impact on the
Hmm.
audience. One of them was one lady who was a refugee from Africa. She ended up in Netherlands. She was a refugee and she learned from her experiences. She is one
Hmm.
of the people that I was fascinated and inspired by her stories. Being a single mother, refugee, into now, she is an entrepreneur, she is a best-selling author, and she teach people how to write books and bring their stories to life.
Yes.
Her name is Mary, and it was a pleasure for me to collaborate with her. Her message was live free. Whatever you go through, live free. And my message was the reborn mindset. Because for the fact that I am a reborn, so my message was reborn mindset, cultivating a reborn mindset. So we collaborated together and we wrote a book called Reborn to Live Free. So we combined our messages together and we produced this book. Now I'm in the process of writing another book with another awesome lady. She's academic and she's studying leadership from the core. She's studying leadership from the fathers of leadership who
Hmm.
started realizing, and I know them because I read about them and I was interested to know where does leadership concept come from. Now maybe this is gonna be another session where I can talk about it and but you have to know that leadership uh, existed more than 3,000 years ago,
Oh, sure.
right? So another collaboration with this lady, we are writing a book, which we consider to be a guide that can solve leadership problems.
Okay.
And one of these problems and one of the chapters that I am writing at the moment is called, the mental health, recognize the mental health issues in corporate world, also in life. So these are the collaborations that I can share with you at the moment. And again, there are several great people that I'm dealing with. They have great stories. I mean, it's great. It's great.
Well, well, thank you, for sharing that, because what I'm also hearing you say is that it's important as an entrepreneur that we that we join forces with other people, that we don't know everything, but not only that, but they can add some very special things to our lives and our business, as well as we can add to theirs. And as one of my mentors has often said, one is a lonely number. You know what I'm saying? It's a very, very lonely number. And so when you can collaborate with, when you have a community that you can be a part of, then it's not so lonely. And you can then create a level of going from success to significance, which is part
Right.
of that legacy model, right?
Right, right. And thank you so much for sharing this point. I want to highlight on something. We have people promoting that leadership is influence. But to be honest, when you say that, I mean, there's a statement where it goes like this: if you are leading and there is no one to follow, then you are taking a walk.
You're just taking
And
it off.
yeah, I have to differ this point. No one on earth, no one on earth is having a walk.
Mm.
Everyone on earth is leading somebody. The only problem is recognition. We need to recognize that we are being followed, whether we know it or not. We have to
Oh, that's
recognize that there is somebody watching us, right? So leadership is not influence. Leadership is collaboration. That's when you create an impact. It doesn't have to collect a number of followers and look back and see that people are following you and making sure that you're taking a walk or something. You know, because now you said something very important. Collaboration builds the legacy and builds the impact. It's leaders coming together. Leaders never compete, they complete.
mm.
This is one of the lessons that I learned from collaborating with other people who have different stories. We might have, I mean, it's not we might, we do have, everyone have, even I have blind spots.
Absolutely. Yes, we all have.
So we need to recognize, we need to accept, and we need to collaborate with other people. This is leadership. It's not influence. Influence is an outcome of whatever you're doing. But if you perceive things as per their outcome, you are not going to fulfill the real meaning of the thing that you're going after. You
I,
got
I
my sense?
totally understand that. And yet, we can agree to disagree in that. I think, based on just what you said a few moments ago, is that leadership is still, I still think that leadership is influenced based on just what you said, in that many times we're doing something and we have no idea that people are watching. We're not even conscious of the fact that we're watching, that people are watching. When parents are talking about various things, in front of their children, or around, their children could be in another room of the house. Children hear that, and they are being led by those very thoughts. And that does influence, um, oftentimes, how that child perceives adults, how they perceive men, women, how they perceive older adults, how they perceive just life in general. That does influence them. And yet, I do understand what you're saying, is that when you understand that you are a leader, then you can make some conscious choices in how you choose to then collaborate with others to make the world a better place, to make your life better, to make their lives, your collaborators' lives, even better. So,
Right.
like I said, we can agree to disagree, but
No,
I
no, you're
absolutely
right.
believe that it is influence, whether we're aware of it or not.
You are right. But what I said is, when we say leadership, we have to describe it as what it is. You see, influence is there, and influence is an outcome,
Mhm.
right? When you define something by its outcome, people are going to do whatever it takes to reach the outcome, whether it's right or wrong. You got my point.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to. I have to clarify my point. I'm not saying it's not, but it's not right to say it is, because it. I mean, inspiration. Like I used to say that leadership is inspiration, but during my studies, I found that it's not pure inspiration. Inspiration and influence is an outcome that gives us impact.
Okay.
In order for us to fulfill the outcome of the concept, we have to understand the concept itself. So this leads me to say that leadership is a responsibility.
It most
And
certainly is. Once we
that's it.
recognize that we indeed are leaders, as you said earlier, I totally agree.
Yes. So I hope that this is clear right now. Like I'm not.
Absolutely. Look, we're just having a chat in our living room.
Right.
You're in your office, I'm in
Right.
my office, and we're talking, and our listeners are listening in. And they
I
too
yeah.
are
I am in my lab. I don't want to call it an office. This is a lab, of
okay.
teachers and experiments.
You're in there cooking up something. All right, I love it. Well, I have to tell you, Dr. Makki, this has been just wonderful. And we're just about at the end of our show. And so I just want to give you just a couple of minutes. And I need for you to be brief on this because and that is, what are three takeaways that you would like our listening and watching audience to take from this time that we've spent together?
Three things.
Yes,
Okay.
briefly,
First of all,
briefly.
very, very quick, very quick. I promise. Okay. First of all, recognition. We need to recognize that we are leaders.
Yes,
No matter where we stand in life, no matter what role we were playing in life, we are leaders. We are being watched. So, first thing, we have to recognize.
okay,
Second thing, after the recognition, we have to take responsibility, because whatever we do is affecting others, whether we know it or not.
yes,
Once we take this responsibility, we start setting our priorities, because we have to get our vision clear. So, three things we have to think about: recognize that we are leaders, take responsibility, and make our vision clear so we know where we are going in life. Therefore, we will be able to lead people, because, as we said and agreed, that we are being watched and people are following our footsteps, whether we know it or not.
absolutely. And so, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us on the Urban Entrepreneur Show. And I forgot to mention, you're coming to us today from what country is that?
Kuwait, all the
From
way from Kuwait,
Kuwait?
Middle East.
Yes, yes. I did mention that, I did mention Middle East, but I didn't mention the country. And,
No problem.
and one of the reasons why I like to do this is because, our show is really gaining, recognition and an audience around the country, because urban entrepreneurism or entrepreneurism isn't just in the US. where I'm located. It's in Kuwait, it's in India, it's in France, it's in Canada, Papua New Guinea, it's all over the world. And I just want to be able to feature some of the leaders, some of the entrepreneurs that are global on our show so that we all can get a broader based understanding of the impact that urban entrepreneurs globally are making throughout this time in history.
Wonderful. I'm pleasure to be talking through your platform, and as I expressed before, that you're doing great job. You're doing great job. I
Well,
mean, I talk too much, so I'm trying to, say a few words.
well, that no, it's okay. It's it's just that we have to fit things within a certain time frame. So I
Right,
really
right.
appreciate you. So,
Thank
my
you so much.
friends, as we wrap up this exciting episode of the Urban Entrepreneur Show with our guest today, Dr. Houssam Makki, all the way from Kuwait, we just want to extend a heartfelt thanks to not only Dr. Makki, but to all of you, our listening and viewing audience. Remember that our passion here at the Urban Entrepreneur Show is it's the thing that really drives us to bring the best of voices that we can globally, to your screen, whether it be large or small. And also, today's show was brought to you by our sponsor, Thrive Leadership Institute. We are your go to source for coaching, training, and resources that will supercharge your personal and professional growth. Now, you can find out more about us by going to thriveleadershipinstitute.com and just find out more about how we might be able to help you. Also, I want to bring to your attention, here is how you can get in touch with Dr. Houssam Makki. You can reach him at HoussamMakki.com. If you're interested in any of the things that he shared with you, or to go more in depth with the things that he shared with us today. And the last point that I want to bring is, if you are an entrepreneur and you have an amazing story to share, then consider joining us as a guest on the Urban Entrepreneur Show. We're all about sharing wisdom and experiences that inspire. So don't hesitate to get in touch with us at the urbanentrepreneurshow.com and find out more, I should say, go there to learn more and to apply. So with that, I want to say, have a great day. Thank you, Dr. Makki. Thank you for being with us today. And we will all see you again on the next time. Bye-bye for now.